Board meeting of August 2nd, and the board did meet in closed session, and there was nothing reportable to report. Jane Loomis, would you please lead us in our Pledge of the Allegiance?
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Marvelous. I'm going to dawdle just a second. We're missing who? Two. Marvelous is crossing. All right. Superintendent Chief Learning Officer Kramer, is there any changes to the agenda?
President Drillo, there are no changes to the agenda tonight.
Marvelous. Would anyone care to please make a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I will move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Would you approve the agenda as presented?
Aye.
Marvelous. Thank you. At this point, it is public comment time, and I'll ask our public, would you have any comments this evening? Seeing as there is no public comment, we'll close public comment and move right on to our superintendent's, is this your first? Yes, your first district update for the board.
Yes, thank you, President Driller. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here as the Chief Learning Officer for Tahoe-Truckee, an amazing school district. And even though schools are closed and kids are on vacation, the district is a busy place in the summertime. So I'll give you some updates. We had summer programs. Kat and her food service team is still offering summer lunch and pop-up programs through August 11th. They visit 5 different neighborhoods Monday through Friday and deliver lunches. And it's very well received. The families and the kids are always very excited to see them and look forward to that each day. And then last Friday, we finished 3 of our summer programs, our expanded learning opportunity program summer camps that we partnered with the North Tahoe Boys and Girls Club for. They ended last Friday. Keep in mind the Boys and Girls Club offers summer camp all summer long, so the summer camps are still going. But for our ELAP program, we had 370 students participate total for the combined sites. So we offered the program at Truckee Elementary and at the Kings Beach Clubhouse. So great participation for our first year for that program. And then our special ed extended school year ended last Friday, and our high school credit recovery program. And this year's high school credit recovery program had 115 students participate. They had an in-person option, and the courses were all online, or they could work just from home. So great participation this year. And then this Friday, our AIM High program over at Kings Beach for grades 6 through 8 ends. President Driller, Dee Dee, myself, and Amber attended their open house a couple weeks ago, and just an amazing program. Really great. And of course, another team that is very busy in the summer is our facilities and maintenance team. Big projects that happened on top of the summer deep clean they do in general maintenance is we had a modernization project at North Tahoe. The cafeteria got new flooring, has been painted, and new acoustic panels, which I know are going to be very well received. The whole exterior of the building is being painted, and that will finish in the fall. And then they are working on the ADA lifts, and those will be done by December. Truckee High School, 3 parts of their building got new roofs. The roofs were 20 years old, so we're just on a regular rotation for updating those. And then, even better news, cooling systems, air conditioning. The Truckee Elementary School portables now have air conditioning, and then the kitchens. Some of our elementary school kitchens did not have cooling. So Glenshire Elementary, Truckee Elementary, Kings Beach, and Tahoe Lake now, and Truckee High School have AC in their kitchens. So we're really happy for our food service staff. And then the EV bus charging station is going in at the TMO. That will be a fall project and be done hopefully in October. And then another collaboration, if that wasn't enough, with our tech service department and team, Mr. Hilton's team, they've installed new security cameras, replacing all of the old ones, plus added 50 more. So those are in the common areas, exterior, and so on. So lots of projects for facilities. And then human resources have been very busy, lots of hiring. We have 34 certificated staff participating in our new Educator Academy on August 22nd. So far, there are still some open teaching positions, so if you know of anyone out there that wants to teach in Tahoe-Truckee, please let them know. And then we have many classified positions open, bus drivers, special ed instructional assistants, and cooks, so please consider joining our team. It's a wonderful place to work. And then looking ahead to the new year, just today, the email went out welcoming everyone to the 23-24 school year. And our district-wide kickoff is on August 25th. All staff are back at work by that day, and our convocation is at Truckee High School, and it's a full day of professional learning. So we're very excited. The district leadership team has put together a phenomenal day, and we're really looking forward to that. And then next week begins our data confirmation for parents and just getting ready, getting signed up for the school year and so on. And we have 2 special parent workshops. The first one is on Monday, August 7th at Truckee Elementary School in the gym from noon to 6. And we'll have bilingual services there, and you can get your bus pass, sign up for free and reduced lunch, which is really important. Even though school meals are free, if families qualify for free and reduced lunch, they then also qualify for the free after-school program with the Boys and Girls Club through ELOP. So it's important to get that word out. And then the second day of that parent workshop is August 8th from noon to 6 at King's Beach. So lots happening. It's been a great summer, but we are excited to get the new school year started. So thank you, President Driller.
Ooh, that was a lot. That was a lot. That was great. Thank you for that. Are we ready? Yeah, we did, but you were gone. Game on. Let me introduce you to the superintendent, chief learning officer. Will tell you who's coming up next.
Yes, President Driller and Board of Trustees, I'm going to ask our Assistant Superintendent, Melanie, to introduce our next group.
Thank you, Superintendent Kramer. Board of Trustees, I would like to introduce Sarah Colborn, our new English Language Development Program Specialist. She will start her portion of tonight's presentation briefly describing her exciting new role. I get to work with her every day, as well as presenting our District English Learner Advisory Committee, or DLAC. So DLAC advises on all of the things you see on this slide. Our EL Master Plan will be presented to you at the next board meeting and updated for this coming school year. They also advise on other items, and tonight they will be sharing their, because they're here tonight and being able to share themselves, their own feedback, suggestions, and concerns from the 22-23 school year. We will also share with you the next steps for the 23-24 school year based on their feedback. So without further ado, and I'm going to give Sarah the clicker. Miss Sarah Colborn.
It's not on. Now it's on. I'm so sorry. Thanks, Rory. I don't want it to get past anyone, so it's worth repeating. I'm so grateful to be in this new position, and I'm so grateful because a big part of that is working directly with the families, including DLAC, and working so closely with Ed Services. So my position is new, English Language Development Program Specialist, and I like to think that it basically takes two people to do the work of what Tara House once did. And so I really want to honor all of the amazing and extensive work that Tara House has done, and I'm fortunate that I get to do just part of it, and it's a part of my passion, and quite frankly, I think it's the fun part of the job. I will facilitate District English Learner Advisory Committees, DLAC, and I'll also be supporting the ELACs at the sites. I will provide support and coaching for English language teachers and staff, a huge priority of our school district, as the board and DLAC will learn more about this year, is looking at all of us being English learner teachers and supporting our kids, and supporting the continued development of what's called MTSS, called Tier 1 or Tier 2, but multi-tiered systems of support district-wide and school-wide. And while tonight's presentation will be relatively brief, over the school year and when Logan and I get to present the English Learner Master Plan, we'll speak more in depth about our plans for this school year. I'd like to present to you, not all of our DLAC participants are here tonight, but I would love to introduce you to Selene Brambila, who has 2 children at Glenshire. Thank you for being here. Erica Garcia, who has a child at Truckee Elementary. Christina, better known as Tina Aldana from Tahoe Lake. And Ceci Sanchez, who has a child at Truckee High right now. Thank you for being here. The parents that are here tonight, and the parents as far in DLAC, have actually worked with Tara House last year, and this evening, Angel and I worked with the DLAC representatives, and we went over all of this information in Spanish already and discussed the issues a little bit more. And so we all have Spanish versions of the slide deck in front of us while we discuss it in Spanish. While we discuss it in English. Wouldn't it be fun if we just switched to Spanish to see what happens? We'll see. And so at the end, if the board has questions, Angel and I are here to facilitate any translation, so you can get the expertise of our representatives here, and they can share their insights with you. The basic topics that we received feedback on from last year were transportation, social emotional support and bullying, support and enrichment for English learners, parent-teacher partnerships, and parent education. I'll speak briefly to what the DLAC members were celebrating and also some concerns they continue to have. And here and there, I'll give some examples of what's already in place, though it certainly won't be comprehensive and extensive to all the plans we have for this year. So the DLAC input for transportation services, Nanette Rondeau met with DLAC last year, and the DLAC representatives did express significant gratitude, as we all know, for the amazing drivers and staff at the TMO. Efforts of the department to provide transportation, we know the effort is there, and having bilingual staff directly supporting the families and students in the transportation and actual bus drivers is a huge asset. Some concerns that we continue to address are the bus routes and access. We know that we are in need of more drivers and more access, specifically for the Lakeside and for the Glenshire schools. The access during this crazy snow of last year, of course, are things that we all recognize. And we continue to have concerns about behaviors on the bus. We know that Nanette and her team and the amazing bus drivers work very diligently with the families, students, and even with the school sites to continue to work on those behaviors. And so we would love to be able to have more drivers, as well as more paraprofessionals being able to participate and supervise on those buses so that our kids come to and from school safely. And we certainly know that the recruitment for more drivers and paraprofessionals has been extensive. The second aspect that DLAC spoke about was the social emotional support and bullying. Some real gratitude was expressed when DLAC met with Kirsten Kramer in her assistant superintendent of educational services role last year. And they express gratitude of the incredible work that the teachers and administrators are doing, certainly the efforts there. Students are feeling connected with staff. School is feeling more normal after the pandemic, but there are still concerns. DLAC recommends additional work with middle school and high school students in particular to encourage them to speak up and report social problems or bullying at school. But we spoke further, it's not just middle school and high school. It is a journey for all of our kids, and we know that Tahoe Truckee Unified is in the process, the counselors and assistant principals are in the process of looking at our social emotional learning materials, what needs to be supplemented, what might even need to be replaced. We know that even on August 25th, there are breakout sessions for all of TTUSD staff on how to support children of all ages and school sites better in terms of self-advocacy and feeling confident with their trusted adults. So again, the effort is certainly there, but we're certainly working to refine and have more common language across school sites and across grade levels so that the students have the routines and language there to advocate for themselves. The DLAC members also gave input regarding support and enrichment for English learners, and specifically the gratitude expressed, incredible work of teachers and administrators. Students are feeling more connected. I did the same thing in our last meeting. I started repeating the exact same slide. Pardon me.
No, but it's different. The bottom is different.
Oh, thank you. So the concerns addressed, thank you, pardon me. The concerns addressed were the Aim High and summer school programs are very important to struggling students, and the DLAC committee would like them to continue. I know that everyone would like them to continue. DLAC requests education on the intervention programs, enrichment programs, and how TTUSD differentiates instruction. And some of the steps that are being taken there, similar to the discussion of ELOP, that the summer programs, we are now partnering with the Boys and Girls Clubs on the Truckee side and the Lake side to make sure that these summer school programs do continue, and TTUSD is partnering with those club sites to help refine the academic support. And as far as the requests, education on intervention programs and enrichment programs, Logan, our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, and I will be meeting regularly with DLAC in order to provide that information and continued education. But what we were just speaking about prior to the meeting, before we joined you, is we can have the best presentations in the world. It's very much about getting participation with families. So we're really working on brainstorming this year. How do we change locations, times? How do we change formats? Because we have the resources to share. The ability to actually get parents in the seats, to have them empowered, is a huge next step for us for DLAC and for our ELACs, including our site council meetings and our PTOs. Speaking of parent-teacher partnerships, again, having met with Kirsten Kramer last year, DLAC expressed incredible work, gratitude for the incredible work of teachers, admin, and the parent volunteers. Some concerns addressed continue to be how can DLAC and TTUSD just get more parents involved? What can DLAC and TTUSD do to promote stronger partnerships with parents and teachers? So the last slide and this slide have a lot of similar work. We can share some celebrations on that already, that, for example, Alder Creek and Truckee High, they join their monthly ELAC meetings to increase participation. When Tina for Tahoe Lake and Kings Beach and North Tahoe School, the Lakeside ELAC all meets together. And Angel was sharing how the North Tahoe High School GRIT program aligns their GRIT meetings with their ELAC meetings, which is a huge way for parents and students to come and get more information on how to be college and career ready. So just maximizing some of those strategies and scaling them up is something that we can work on. And we joked that these are still questions, so we don't quite have the solutions yet, but we're going to work together to make sure that we get those. And then the parent education piece. DLAC gave input to Kirsten Kramer last year on the gratitude, again, expressed of certainly the effort and the incredible work of teachers and administrators, the success of workshops that have happened previously. We'd like to actually continue and increase those. And then concerns addressed. Many families still do not fully understand the education systems and opportunities available, and which, again, getting back to combining DLAC with GRIT and ELAC is one potential.
Sarah, may I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Just before you keep going, could you please, for people watching that don't know, or maybe for some of our new board members, could you, ELAC, DLAC, and GRIT, could you please,
Yes.
what that stands for?
Thank you
the
for
acronyms?
stopping me.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping me. So DLAC is an acronym that for the District English Language Advisory Committee. And so as a district, families of English learners come together, and they're an advisory committee that very much impacts decision-making for our LPAC and our strategic plan. That happens at a district level. So the ladies you see in front of you are from schools across the district. ELAC happens at the site level, English Language Advisory Committee, and they meet at least 3 times a year. And that's with a principal or principal's designee. Families typically just from that school, the community liaison. And so to see the schools joining forces for those monthly EMACs or monthly ELACs or bi-monthly ELACs is actually a wonderful thing because it's really increasing participation. GRIT is a program that I can't begin to speak super intelligently about, but it's a program that Alejo Padilla brought to our district, to North Tahoe High School, and has worked diligently with that community. And GRIT is essentially like to grab it. And the idea is to empower students and their families, particularly of the Latino communities in our district, to navigate the pathways to ensure that their students don't just graduate from high school, but are A through G college ready, or completely set up through their CTE pathways to pursue trade schools, to pursue their dreams. And so that idea of maximizing and joining forces, and Erica was sharing how Truckee, for example, thanks to Maria Torres, has really worked to have ELAC and our PTO, parent-teacher organization, join forces. And Selena was saying, yep, Glenshire is going to start doing that this year too. And so instead of having many silos of work, having just the community that we are, having us be a little bit more collaborative. Thank you for stopping me for that. No, please don't apologize. I'm a little nervous. This is my second day on the job, people. So for today, if you do have questions for, absolutely.
What happened in your house before you got here?
So, I got a call from my son who was sitting in Ed Services, and a bear got in our house. He was trapped up. My son was trapped upstairs while the bear was in the kitchen. So sure, thanks, Dee Dee. I'll use that as an excuse too. So I had to run home and fight off a bear in a dress. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I am truly excited for this work, and so thanks for your grace in my little bit of anxiousness and being nervous. If you have questions for myself, for Assistant Superintendent of Ed Services, Logan Maloney, and certainly, most importantly, if you have questions for our amazing DLAC members, Angel and I can support.
That was wonderful, thank you. That was it, you did a good job on your second day. I would open it up for any questions from the board. Comments? I was just going to ask on any one of them, but have they all been on for a while on these committees, or how? They have to come up to the podium. So someone, who wants to talk? How long have you been? You can say it in Spanish and then they'll translate it. Yeah. Emma, Erica.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here in Truckee Elementary for 5 years. No, almost 5 years. And I found an amazing community, and then the staff of the Truckee Elementary is amazing, and they help a lot with my son. And I participate all the time on the ELAC and a couple times in DLAC, and then I have a lot of information, good information to raise my son to, he's in 4th grade. So I want to know more how to support him to go to the college or university, because for the Hispanic people, it's kind of hard to find information how to teach, get through the university. So it's kind of hard to find programs to support them when they need a lot of more education, because it's the second language is kind of hard for us. And then it's what I know.
So with that, though, do you think that like all these meetings that you're having with the DLAC or ELAC, is there a way we can get more people in so that, I mean, if this information is so valuable, how can we get more people to know more about it? Or we would be loving to hear your thoughts on how to get this information that you're getting to everybody so that everybody else can reap the benefit.
I think we need more people that speak Spanish, because many people, they don't speak Spanish.
Yep.
And then it's kind of hard to go into the school and how to make a questions to how's the kids going, or what program is good for them. And then when you don't know the language, it's hard. And it's kind of afraid to go in and ask. And if it's nobody there, like, to speak Spanish, it's impossible. I think the people, they say, I don't want to go to the school and ask, because they don't have enough people that speak Spanish. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I'm impressed with the magnitude of how big this is now. Since when we had kids in the program, there weren't this many people that were involved in ELAC or DLAC, so the information never got down to the second language learners or even the second language speakers at home.
Yeah.
And so you guys have done a phenomenal job getting the word out so that you have other people getting, like, more people getting information so that we
Yeah.
can help.
In my first year when I came here, I told Sarah Corbin that I went to the ELAC meeting. When I arrived, I saw one person.
Yeah.
And now I surprised that I think it's 20-something.
Yeah.
Right now in the meetings, I was like, we're going in the
So
right
that is awesome, and
way.
I think that, I think you guys have I think collectively that you've made a point that you need help or you want to be heard, and I think it's working. Like, I think we're able to do that, so we're able to provide, and I think this is going to be with our new position of Sarah, English Language Development Program Specialist. What is that, ELDPS? But anyway, I think that this is something that you guys I would use and abuse her. Like, I would definitely, like, she's there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to compliment you guys or thank you for coming.
Yeah.
But also, I think you guys have come a long, long way in terms of getting the information to so many other people. So ask Sarah for more help.
Yeah, she's a good helper. Yeah.
Yay, well, awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming all the way over.
I just wanted to, just a quick closing remark, something that I wanted to say at one of the slides. It's a super exciting year, and under the new, a new board and a new chief learning officer and superintendent and assistant superintendent, last spring there were some agreements, there was significant collaboration made across all school sites, elementary, middle to high school, and one significant agreement was made that in order to support English learners and actually all students of all abilities, to really prioritize academic discourse this school year. And it's the first time I can recall in my 30 years that TTUSD of every single school site has agreed to prioritize a practice, and it's really upholding our English learners. So I'm excited to see what we do and share it with you as we go. All right, so thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much. Thank you. And then Superintendent Chief Learning Officer Kramer, I'm going to move it on to the resolution number 1.
Thank you, President Driller.
Wow.
I'm going to turn it over to our Executive Director of Student Services, Anna Marie Cohen.
Right, thank you. So, good evening, President Driller, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Kramer. Resolution 1, 2023-2024, to establish August as Immunization Awareness Month, affirms the commitment of TTUSD to recognize National Immunization Awareness Month in order to encourage people of all ages to make sure they are up to date on vaccines recommended for them. Communities use the month of August each year to raise awareness about the important role vaccines play in preventing serious and sometimes deadly diseases. TTUSD believes the physical, social, and emotional well-being of students results from a partnership between families, the school staff, and the community. It is the staff's recommendation that the Board of Trustees adopt Resolution Number 1, 2023-2024, to establish August as Immunization Awareness Month.
Are there any questions from the board?
Actually, I have a question. I'm just wondering why we do this every year. Why isn't it just a blanket thing and it's done? Why does it come to us every year?
I think it affirms our commitment to certain resolutions for every month, and reestablishes our commitment to recognition that these are very important topics, to educate our community, our students, our families.
Okay, thank you. I know sometimes we see the same resolutions year after year, and it's like, why? But that makes sense. Thank you.
Awesome, and I do think that you answered that in the homework as well, so thank you for that. There was a question, I think, on that. And with that, I know it's a, where am I going back to? It's a action item, so is there a motion to approve Resolution 1?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 1-2023-2024, identifying August as Immunization Awareness Month.
Is there a second?
Happy to second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm also happy to affirm and reaffirm this resolution. Aye.
Aye. Chief Learning Officer Kramer, I'm going to give you 11.0.
Thank you, President Driller. And I'm going to ask our Assistant Superintendent, Chief Business Officer Todd Rivera, to speak about 11.1.
Thank you. So 11.1 is related to a donation from Sierra Watershed Educational Program, or SWEP as it's more commonly referred to as. And this particular grant, in partnership with the district, SWEP oftentimes tries to find opportunities for grants through other organizations that will help support just the district's sustainable programs and practices. Specifically with this was a grant that SWEP had applied for through Tahoe Truckee Airport District, and it included things like sorting tables, organic waste buckets, bento boxes, and also even custodial support to help support that separation practice during lunchtime for separating organic waste. In addition, the grant also included some new equipment for the food service department related to reusable silverware, reusable cups, and the biggest one was milk dispensers. So several of our sites now have milk dispensers, so instead of having carton milks that we provide to the students, we actually have reusable cups with a pull-down handle that they can get milk. It's fresher, it tastes better, the kids like it, and there's less waste, both with the milk itself and the cartons. So that's what this particular donation from SWEP supports, is the purchase of those items in the amount of $11,890.62. This equipment or supplies, we actually purchased through another funding source, kitchen equipment funds that were provided by the state, because we didn't know if we're going to receive this, and if we did, how much. So we kind of front funded it with that, but now we can reimburse it with this funding source, and that opens up money for other kitchen equipment purchases.
Thank you. Thank you for that, and also thank you for answering questions in the homework as well on that topic. Are there any other board questions or comments on that donation? I always love the SWEP activities that are happening, so I definitely am psyched to see this here, and I will move to accept the donation 11.1.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Marvelous. And donation 11.2, Superintendent Kramer?
Yes, and that will also be our Chief Business Officer, Todd Rivera, speaking about that.
Thank you. So this is a donation in the amount of $1,600 from Sierra Harvest, and the purpose of this donation is to provide training support for our food service staff. And just, this is another one of those donations that now we're recognizing, however, we've kind of done the activity already. Back in November, our food service staff were lucky enough to go to the Culinary Institute of America in Napa, California on a Saturday and learn new cooking techniques, recipe creation, and also tasting. So that's something that we hope will continue, and this donation supports that effort.
I think I just heard Chris say that she would like to be part of that as we move forward. Now, any other board comments or questions on that donation? Would anyone like to make a motion to accept or approve?
I'll move to accept the donation from Sierra Harvest for the implementation of the culinary education for food and nutrition staff members.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you for that. Moving on to 12.0, Chief Learning Officer Kramer.
And for this grant, we will hear from Dr. Anna Marie Cohen.
All right, President Driller, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Kramer. Nurtured Heart, created by Howard Glasser, consists of a set of strategies that assist children in further developing their self-regulation and has been found effective with children of all ages. It focuses on transforming the way children perceive themselves, their caregivers, and the world around them. Children learn to understand that they will receive endless amounts of praise, energy, recognition, and reward through the positive behavior they display, and this supports children to build a positive portfolio of themselves, which we call inner wealth. Given the positive response and ongoing demand in our community for the training in this behavioral and relational approach led by the Student Services Program Specialist, Nick Bartlett, Excellence in Education has granted TTUSD $5,000 to fund additional trainings during the 23-24 school year. The funds will provide for 2 additional trainers and 1 additional advanced trainer. It is staff's recommendation that the Board of Trustees accept the grant from Excellence in Education for $5,000.
Thank you for that. Are there any questions for Dr. Cohen? Comments? I'll make a comment. Just obviously, I do like the fact that it was one of those things that was out there in the community, and it was definitely well heard. And we've used our task force and our methods of obtaining information from all of our public, and we actually got it to go to good use. And I know it's one of those things that's out there now that everybody's sort of trying to figure out how to support our kids every which way. So thanks for that grant from Nick, and thank you for Excellence in Ed as recognizing as continual recognition of how much support that they give our kids. We do like Excellence in Ed. With that, does anyone like to make a motion to approve the
I'll make a motion to approve the grant to support Nurtured Heart Approach Professional Development funded by Excellence in Education.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, is there any staff want to remove anything from the consent agenda?
No, President Driller.
And board members, anyone want to remove or adjust the consent? Would I get a motion? There were some questions that were answered from this consent agenda in all of our homework, so I appreciate the time spent on that. And I do just want to highlight the 13.4 personnel, the fact that we've had so many new people put in place, and all the work that goes into getting everybody on board. And there's a lot for your first month, but thank you for getting that on there. And I know that, we definitely had a lot to do, so that is something that we always notice. With that, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. There is no member of CSEA or TTEA did anyone give any reports that they wanted us to read?
No, I'm happy to report everyone's on vacation and enjoying their last few weeks this summer. So
As it
no
should
report.
be.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
As it
So,
should be.
moving to 16.0, Superintendent Kramer.
And I'm going to turn this to our new Executive Director of Human Resources, Mr. Mike Shepard.
Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, members of the board, and the Tahoe Truckee community. For your consideration, we have for you the approval of revisions to the job description for the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. And mainly, you'll see in there title change and a removal of a division that would report and a couple of other updates. So with that, I'll entertain any questions that you have.
I do believe this was something that we had discussed earlier, correct, that we had noted that we had to, or I think we've already seen this at one point, have we, or not? Yeah. Any questions? This is an info action, so can I get a motion to approve the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services job description?
I'll make a motion to approve the revised job description for the Assistant Superintendent of Education Services.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. 16.2?
Our Chief Business Officer, Todd Rivera, will speak to this one.
Thank you. So this is an amendment to the employment agreement between Tahoe Truckee Unified School District and Kirsten Kramer to be our Superintendent Chief Learning Officer. And in review of the contract that was approved by the board previously, we found some areas that we wanted to make changes to reflect what the true intent of the board was at the time of executing this contract. So specifically on the first part in section 1, paragraph 1, the commencement date in the contract originally had a term of July 2nd, 2023. We are changing that to July 1st of 2023. The second section is section 3B, paragraph 1, where the terms had for insurance coverage for the superintendent chief learning officer had said employee plus spouse. The intent was to have employee plus family insurance coverage on that.
Thank you for that, and thank you, Danielle, for taking the time to help us review that. We appreciate your dedication to us.
No problem.
And Todd, thanks for catching that. Any other questions or comments? All right, with that, can we get a motion to approve 16.2?
I'll make a motion to approve the amended contract with Kirsten Kramer, Superintendent Chief Learning Officer, as it was intended to be, but we missed it.
I'll second.
Thank you, and all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving to 17.0, Superintendent.
And this is our Chief Business Officer, Todd Rivera, once again.
Thank you. So tonight I bring an application for dry period funding through the County of Placer Treasurer's Office. Let me give a little background and explanation. Throughout the years with a lot of public agencies, but particularly school districts, there are oftentimes cash shortfalls throughout the year, meaning the cash in the bank is not enough to cover the expenditures that are happening on a monthly basis. And that is not uncommon because, as you know, we have particular revenue sources. Sometimes they come in a little bit delayed from when we actually make expenditures. In our district specifically, we usually hit cash shortfalls around October, November. So that means whatever we start the year with in the bank gets spent down and we start going into negative cash, deficit spending for cash. And generally, because of our revenue source is primarily property taxes, we don't really start to see our large portions of revenue come in until December, January, when the first tax apportionment is coming from the county, and then again in April, May is the second set of property taxes that we receive. So during that period, a lot of districts are required to do some temporary borrowing to cover those cash shortfalls. Our county treasurer actually covers for us. So all of our money is held in with Placer County Treasurer, and they allow us to do what's called dry period funding. So they cover the shortfalls month to month as long as we approve this application. And the only cost to us is just interest earnings that we, for the negative cash, whatever the current interest rate is in the county pool, we would have to pay back to them because that's a loss of revenue. And we're expecting that we'll go into negative cash, like I said, in October. We're asking for 10 million just to cover us, give us a little bit of a cushion. And then in November, or December rather, we'll no longer need the county to cover us.
Thank you, Todd. Quick question, though. I'll let you guys, any questions from the board? Comments? Just quickly, the 10 million, is that something that we normally do? That's our ballpark number?
Yeah, I included their estimated cash flow, and I think by November, we show a shortfall. And this could change, obviously, this
Yep.
is all estimates. We show a negative of about 7 million
Yep.
to 8 million. So just to give us a little bit of cushion because of the timing of expenses and when revenue's coming in,
Yep.
we upped it a little bit more.
Awesome, okay, thank you. With that, that is an item of action, so can I get a motion to approve the application 17.1?
I'll move to approve the 2023-24 dry period financing application through County of Placer.
I'll second.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Superintendent Chief Learning Officer Kramer, we are going to 18.1.
President Gilder and Board, I'm very excited to have Dr. Cohen share a little bit about this new program. So Dr. Cohen.
Okay, so President Driller, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Kramer. Attendance is a vital component of school success. Students with poor attendance score lower than their peers who attend school regularly on national skills assessments, regardless of race or ethnicity. Chronic absenteeism can be a better predictor of school failure than test scores. Chronic absenteeism can occur as early as preschool and kindergarten and has been shown to be related to future chronic absenteeism, grade retention, and poor academic achievement, particularly for social skills and reading. Chronic absenteeism broadly refers to missing too much school for any reason, including excused and unexcused absences, as well as suspensions. Most researchers in a growing number of states have defined chronic absenteeism as missing 10% or around 18 days of the entire school year. Currently, TTUSD has 4 schools who are targeted for ATSI monitoring, which is additional targeted support and improvement, requiring the specific schools and the district to take actions and put in place evidence-based interventions to decrease absenteeism and improve student outcomes. Attention to attendance is part of School Innovations and Achievement Initiative. They provide the district with a comprehensive system of touch points that include education, messaging, data management, attendance monitoring, and interventions through their attendance management software. The software is complementary to ARIES, our student information system, and they will provide the resources TTUSD needs to overcome the chronic absenteeism and habitual truancy issues that we're currently facing. This will allow us to positively and proactively address attendance issues and provide education to our community, reestablishing the importance of school attendance from TK through 12th grade. It is staff's recommendation the Board of Trustees approve the contract with School Innovations and Achievement for attention to attendance software and services. Are there any questions?
Any question from the board? No. Comments? I apologize, I didn't ask this earlier. The 4 schools that are needing additional assistance, is this something that we've seen previously, or is this something that this is a brand new, like, or have we, I guess I'm asking, is this new, that these 4 schools are struggling? That's the word I was looking for, thank you.
Well, I think, so there has been a big pause on monitoring attendance. I will probably have to defer to some of my colleagues on the historical attendance data year over year, like prior to COVID-19.
No need to go further. I just was questioning if this is something that we have seen and we've been trying to do it, and this is just another way of fixing it, or if this is something that we're now just seeing and we have a new way of doing it.
So our ATSI designation is new, this year, and it's on lag year data. So just so you know, it's always based on data from the prior year. So that ATSI designation then drives including targeted intervention in their school plans for student achievement. So in the SIPSAs, you will have seen that all the schools that were identified have targeted specific interventions. This is one district-wide intervention strategy that offers actually a tiered mechanism for us to begin proactively and positively kind of changing our views on attendance and start to address it systematically. And then just for your information, we will be doing an attendance presentation for you coming up, and it'll be district specific, so what the trends are that we're seeing. We're trying to get the contract in place now so we can get the training going, and we can start the education campaign really right at the start of the school year, so.
Thank you for that. This also is a action item, so would anyone choose to make an approval of the contract with the school innovations and achievements?
That's our speaker.
A little staticky above my head. It's my halo.
Okay,
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the contract with School Innovations and Achievement for use of attendance to attendance software, which I think is really exciting. I mean, it just seems like it's going to be so much easier for tracking purposes, and then this historic data will be available, which I think is so important in figuring out student success over time. So, good job.
I'll second that. All in favor?
aye.
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 Change. 19.0, Chief Learning Officer Kramer is first read on board policies.
And our Executive Director of Human Resources, Mr. Mike Shepard, will be discussing these with you.
Thank you, Superintendent Kramer, President Driller, members of the board, Tahoe Truckee community. This first read is reflecting law change from Senate Bill 523 in 2022. And what this says is it's adding that we can't ask employees or candidates about information related to reproductive health decision-making. So it's really updates to law. So any questions you have for me, I'm happy to answer.
No questions on that one? I do want to just make a quick note that I did speak to Chief Learning Officer Kramer in reference to the board putting together a timeline where we will review these on a regular basis, just so that we're all on the same page and just getting a chance to look at some of these revisions or sort of board policies as well as resolutions. So that's something that's coming down the pipe. And then we can move you on. I think the next 19.2 is the same. Yes, I'll let.
Yes, correct. 19.2 is also an update to board policy, which really doesn't apply to us because it really deals with school peace officers and how, and so we don't have that here. But it is an update to our policies.
Do we need to look at that so that we either, I guess we can, well, I guess my question would be that if we don't have it, why do we have a policy?
Well, so CSBA sends out these policy updates, and should we ever hire these folks, this policy would
Okay.
drive that we have to give them a different probation period.
Thank you for that clarification. That's really good. Oh my, all right. Any other comments or questions for Michael Shepard? Look at that, I'm remembering his name. Okay, well, that gives us a 20.0 board business. Pat, take us off.
Thank you. I think the attendance program, attention to attendance, sounds something that definitely needs to be addressed, and I'm glad to see us, advancing in that area. I should have mentioned this earlier, but I read through the contract, and I read your comments, by the way. Thank you very much for sending me such detailed information. I'm still not quite sure how it all works, so maybe later we can, find out. We don't have to do it right now. Okay, and then the other thing is, as we're rolling through summer, I would like all people to to keep in mind that that while we call it summer break, it's not really a summer break per se for our teachers. They're not required to be in the classroom, and they're not required to be on campus during the summer break. But some of our teachers, especially our younger teachers, are working summer jobs to pay the exorbitant rent that they have to pay here in our area, or trying to save up for a house. When you see your teacher, kids and parents, waiting tables, working at a bike shop, paving streets, be sure to give them a wave. They may even be cleaning your windows, as one of mine was just the other day. And those who aren't taking up summer jobs, perhaps are more veteran teachers who have figured out how to be able to skip that. They are, as we roll into August, in the days ahead in August, which is still summer break, you will see the parking lot start to fill up with teachers' cars as they prepare for the fall. They are returning to review their curriculum, to prepare new curriculum, and review digital platforms that are brand new to them. They're preparing materials, both academic and decorative, for their classroom. They're improving their own personal skills by attending conferences and workshops, and they are meeting with other teachers and staff during this time. So while we like to call it a summer break, I think we need to all remember and be aware that it's more of a summer slowdown, I think, rather than an actual break. Thank you.
Danielle.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to follow that, because that was pretty amazing. And I mean, it's true. I have friends who I went to school with in college that are all teachers, and they've had a variety of jobs over the years, just filling in the gaps for housing. And interesting enough, one of my friends is actually in an affordable deed-restricted unit that was done as part of a larger subdivision, and half the people in it are teachers. So I think it's the only way that they would be able to afford living in the communities that they're in. So that's another nut for us to crack, which I think we'll eventually have another agenda item in the future to kind of talk about the JPA and sort of that stuff, which I think is important. But yeah, I think it's just so fascinating how much work teachers put in that people don't see and recognize behind the scenes. So summer isn't, you're right, a break for a lot of people, but they really keep our community going. So I appreciate your comments.
Thank you. Chris?
Well, on that note, same is true for classified staff. As Dee Dee and I were reminded today, we walked around the district office and we were talking to the head of, yes, Pat. Yes, no, he's no longer the head of CSEA, but yes, so he, yeah, he was telling us the custodial staff is in the buildings right now, moving desks, scrubbing the schools, getting them ready. I have friends who are school secretaries who, even though they're not on the calendar at work, they are working on their stuff, like Pat just mentioned, even from home. So yeah, you're right, Pat. And I shared with some of the staff in the district office today that when I first became a board member, I was completely unaware that this building ran all summer long, and Dr. Leary looked at me like, how do you think the school district runs? Like, what do you think happens magically on the first day of school, you know? So yeah, good point, Pat. Thank you for reminding everyone of that. And I wanted to share over toward the end of the school year, and just a couple weeks ago, I attended 2 different theater productions of the Boys and Girls Club Great Futures production, and the reason that that is a big deal is because there are so many schools represented at every single production that they put together, kids from Truckee theater program to Incline High School, Forest Charter, I mean, every school you can think of. And I just will do better in updating you guys when those happen. I know I did a last minute little text, but the reason that that is important is that not all of our students are sports people. Many of them are going to theater colleges. So if we can support them as much, or a little more than we do now, that would be a great success for them and a good feeling for them. And then I guess on the 8th, I'm going to be attending the Kings Beach location for the parent workshop. And so the 8th and the 7th of August, we have parent workshops for those of you watching. It's a great opportunity. I know there's mass mailers, so I don't need to talk about the details of that. But I will be there on the 8th toward the end of the day to say hi to some parents and staff. That's all I have. Thank you.
Kirsten?
I had the wonderful opportunity of participating with Kirsten Kramer today with the listening and learning interview, and I just wanted to say that that was a really incredible experience. Thank you so much for taking the time to collect such valuable data and integrate it all, which I know you're so very good at and extremely talented. I also wanted to congratulate you for your first official board meeting as our superintendent. It's wonderful to have you, and we feel very blessed. And then I guess I'm just still kind of in whiplash mode, trying to learn how to parent a college-age student who left for a year and came back a totally different person. And we're just kind of still adjusting to that. Oh, and also, I wanted to thank, as we talked about, our elementary school teachers, our middle school teachers, and our high school teachers for so wonderfully preparing both of our kids to have such an incredible, successful experience, one at UC Santa Barbara and one at UC Santa Cruz. I'm eternally grateful, and I know it's because of the foundation that was provided by our school district here for both kids. So thank you so much.
A lot. You guys have been out of touch for a long. We got a lot of good speeches. This is awesome. I am actually wondering, just because of that Kings Beach parent info, we can't have two board members there at the same time? We can't, okay, because that's the only time I can go, is that one? Okay, so I'm going to do that one as well. So I enjoyed the Aim High, and I will definitely say that we would like to work hard on that one. It's a middle school support, which I think for me is a big deal for, in my mind, really, we should just blow off middle school totally and let them skip it. But if we are going to have middle school, I think Aim High is a really good, it's a great support thing for us. And it's, the people that have done Aim High that are from the city really like our campus. Like so it's kind of cool to have something that started somewhere in a big city that's not like us, to come here and be like, wow, this is the greatest place in the world. So, and then I did go, I think all of us have had our listening and learning with Kirsten, so thank you for reminding that. That was something that I think we missed in COVID, so I think this has been an awesome start where I have to compliment you on taking the time to go to all these places to meet these people, even though you've been in the district for 7 years. To go around and do that is extremely valuable and important. And then I do want to compliment Chris Hennessy for the popsicle delivery today, because it gave us an opportunity as board members to go to offices we couldn't find. How many steps did we do? There's a lot of offices back there that we hadn't seen, and we see names on papers and stuff, so I really appreciate that opportunity. And I will say that I am practicing my convocation speech, getting ready. Not sure how that's going to come out, but we're good on that. And then with that, let's adjourn to, let's close this meeting. Let's adjourn.